Okay, so the inspection is done. Now we have to do the appraisal.
Okay.
What can you tell us about that?
So an appraisal basically tells you what your house is worth.
Again, don't remember, we don't have an idea what the houses are worth. It's what somebody paid for.
Right.
For something similar
in that
area for the past 3 to 6 months.
Yes.
That's how we do it.
So an appraiser goes through the comps that we talked about in the previous videos of those comparables of those houses in that area that's been sold. They'll look at your updates in the house.
That's important too. What's been sold, not what's been on the market, what's been sold, how long it's been on the market, and they'll do all that.
Yeah. So they look at what's been sold in the last 3 to 6 months and for a house of similar square footage and bedrooms, that kind of thing. But they will look at updates. So if the previous owner had updated the floors or they updated the cabinets and stuff like that, they are going to look at those things. If they made the deck bigger, whatever. So that amount, they will send you. Usually it takes them some time, depends on how busy they are. Now let's say if your offer was $400,000 and then the appraisal amount is $375,000. Your bank, if you're using a bank, your bank is going to say, okay, I'm going to give you $375,000.
Yeah, the bank won't go any higher than what the appraised value is.
Nope.
Another thing too, you do not hire the appraisal. The bank does. You pay him. You pay the appraiser, but the bank hires them, and they're not supposed to, but they work for the bank. They don't.
That's
they
what
don't
we think.
technically work for the bank. They're their own independent operators. That's what they'll say. But then why can't I hire them?
Right. That part doesn't make sense.
Right.
So, so if it comes in low, from the amount that you offered, you are on the block to pay that whatever amount. So if it's a difference of $25,000,
well, no,
or you can negotiate with the seller
because you will. We talked about this before. You will have an appraisal contingency.
Right. So if you put that in there.
You better be in there.
Make sure you put that appraisal contingency in there.
So that means if the price comes back around the same as what you offered, you're good. If it comes back higher than what you offered, you're even better.
Yep, you got some equity.
You got some instant equity in the house. If it comes back lower, you can then, if you love the house, you can pay out of pocket for whatever it is.
Yep, so the difference.
Or you can go and renegotiate.
Yes.
If they don't accept your renegotiations, you can exit out because of your appraisal contingency.
Exactly.
So remember that.
Yep. And for that appraisal contingency, there is deadlines too.
Yes.
So again, you have to make sure your bank is on it too, and they usually should be, but you need to look at your deadline. So if your deadline is on the 15th, that you have to have
you look at that. You handle that for us. And she was on top of it. You have to be on top of it because sometimes they're not, and they'll let that date pass, and then you won't be able to exercise that contingency because you would have accepted it.
Yes.
So make sure if you do not accept it, if it comes back lower than normal, than what you think it should come back at, or what you offered, then exercise. I think it's like a few days, isn't it? It's whatever's in the contract.
Well, whatever's in the contract depends on what your realtor and you decide on the contract, because the bank sometimes can rush it, the appraisal, if they know that contingency is coming up, which is nice, but like I said, you still have, it's still your responsibility.
Right, 100% our responsibility to make sure that everything happens that way.
Yeah.
But you do have options if the appraisal doesn't come back the way you want it.
Right. So you just have to fingers crossed and pray that everything is going to work out in your favor.
And the process for us took about, I don't know what takes so long, but it took about a week. Was it about a week?
Well, remember that there was a house that took about that time, but this house was quick. Everything was smooth and ran very nicely. But it just depends, because if you're moving in the summertime, everybody's moving in the summertime.
Right.
So you got all sorts of appraisers out there just running from home to home to home. But if you're moving in the wintertime, and for us, it was the wintertime, you're not having as many houses that people are trying to leave. Summertime, people have kids, they're trying to get into their school district. Everybody's moving.
It's a moving time.
Yeah, so it just depends on the time. So, but just only thing you can do with that is fingers crossed, pray, and hope that it works out.
Make sure that your credit card goes through. They will charge you.
Yes.